What's up, everybody? This is Seer 6, your salty aerospace technician, and today we're talking about long range within Star Citizen. Now, if you're new here and you like what you hear and see at the end of this video, then be sure to like and subscribe for future content, and also please note that this is an ever-evolving game, so things will definitely change over time. Okay, so everyone in their own way has a definition about what long range is, and you do not have to be in aviation nor in a nation's military to wrap your head around this concept. Sure, it's easy to just Google the answer and get a general idea, but within Star Citizen, they have now defined long range as two totally different things, so this could be a little misleading at first. Now, the reason I say this is because of the marketing team defining ships within brochures with these such words. Now, for example, when the Vanguard family was announced back in 2015, it was classified as a long-range platform able to go further and longer within its respective ship size. So in everyone's head, including my own, long range was defined as going great distances to get to the target. And also, with the added living quarters, it just adds to the overall concept of what long range really was. Now, at least this was the definition that I came up with for interpreting a key role that the Vanguard plays. And before you get annoyed at me, just please give me a bit to explain something without just stating my own opinions. So over the week at work, I went around and asked some of my friends to define what long range was. And as a disclaimer, these were all military aviators as well. So I just wanted to hear what they had to say without explaining the overall concept of Star Citizen to them. So my first friend, who was a B-52 mech and who was also getting into the game, defined long range as able to perform the mission with no delay non-stop. Another, who was a C-17 avionics tech, said is able to complete the mission with minimal support anytime and anywhere. And lastly, my friend, who was an F-15E crew chief, said able to go the distance without sacrificing aircraft configuration. So as you can see, we all had a different outlook on what long range was, but in the end, we all had a similar concept. So now, if you took all these definitions, would you personally classify the Vanguard as long range? Now, my goal is not to convince you that it is or is not. I am, however, encouraging you to think about it. Now, something I would like to highlight is the last definition, which once again was sacrificing configuration of the aircraft. Now, modern combat aircraft have different loadout options they can choose from, and if they need to carry ordnance but also need to go longer distance, then just like the F-15 Echo, it would sacrifice some weapon hardpoints, or pylons for the correct term, and replace them with fuel pods, sacrificing capabilities to go the distance required. Now, in my own opinion, you changing out weapons and components within Star Citizen is not changing the configuration of the ship. To me, you're just altering your loadout for a different situation. But if you think different, then hey, more power to you. It's your choice. But now, what if you need to go far in the game and you need to get there fast? Well, you could say use the XLR quantum drive, but what if you need more quantum fuel as well? Because to be quite frank, that is quite a gas guzzler. And let me take a step further and ask you this. What if you could, I don't know, swap out the bottom missile hardpoints on some Vanguards for external fuel tanks, thus sacrificing its combat capabilities for that extra distance? You see what I did there? And here's another thing. The Vanguard comes standard with 2,500 units of quantum fuel, and so does the Freelancers and a lot of other medium-sized ships. But anyways, the difference is the quantum drives in the ship. The Freelancer family also has beds, a kitchenette, bathrooms, and so on. So it would be long range too, right? Again, this is just to make you think. I'm not trying to persuade you that one is better nor is the other. This is what is currently based on what we have right now in game, and I'm not trying to say the Freelancer is better, nor am I trying to say the Vanguard is better. They both have their own purposes when the time comes. Alright, so before we get too far into the Twilight Zone, let's start talking about the second term of long range. So let's jump ahead 4 years later to 2019 when the Ares Starfighter was announced, also saying in the brochure that it was too long range. In fact, the question was even asked that, hey, does this thing have living quarters because it seems just a little too small? And that is where long range was also defined as weapon engagement distance. And again, I asked the same gents to define this for me. The buff mechanic said the ability to engage targets at great distance before anyone knows of your whereabouts. The C-17 avionics tech said engaging far enough away that no one is able to access you through ground or air forces. And the F-15E mechanic, he kind of had a combination between the two. And me, I said to engage a target at great distance with no confrontation. Pretty simple. And this is not to get confused with stealth. Yes, they use similar keywords in both definitions, but yet they're very, very different concepts at the same time. So once again, do these definitions make the Ares seem like it's long range? Again, I'm not trying to persuade you, I just would like you to think about it. Also, I'm not trying to cause too much hype around a certain ship, but one ship that does come into play in terms of long range weapon engagement is the Polaris, because it has those torpedoes and it has that capital class radar to lock and destroy people from far away. Quick, all you Polaris owners, go bow down to your JPEG. I'm kidding. So really though, I don't own one, but I hope it turns into a great ship once it's out. And I really hope all you Polaris owners will smile ear to ear as if you saw your child for the first time. Now, granted, I'd say the Ares has a longer engagement range because of the frickin' BFG that's fixed to the hull, but I really can't make any crazy assumptions until 1, the ship is out with a functioning weapon, and number 2, when the game is at least going into beta with more important features that actually support long range, like, I don't know, the refueling mechanic or weapon balancing. And also with a foreseeable transition to release, because again, let's be real, things are going to change, be added, then removed, announced, then forgotten about. So we're just going to have to wait and see. And to be fair, I have both the Ares Inferno and Ion, and I'm not hating on them at all. I'm just looking at it from a different perspective, so I myself don't overhype myself on a certain ship when it comes out, because I'll disappoint myself. Alright, currently though, those are the 2 types of long range that we currently have in Star Citizen. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Yes, I do in fact read all of them, but I choose to ignore the malicious ones. Also, tell me what your definition of long range is, as well as what items a ship should have to classify it as long range capable for both weapon engagement and going the distance. Also, feel free to like and share and to strike up a convo within your org and personal community. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe and turn that bell on so you get notified of future videos. And also, feel free to join on my Discord, it'll be linked in the comments below. But until next time, fellow citizens, I will see you on the flip side.